Hello, everybody, and welcome to our overtime playoff special. This is week 2 of our coverage. We predicted the wild card matchups last week. I'm Theodore Fernandez, and I will be walking you guys through how we did last week. It was a brutal week for the Candyman, who went 3-3 with some rough picks, such as the Eagles, but we'll get to him momentarily. Brebs and Big Bob each went 4-2, and me and the Robo were on fire with the records of 5-1. So now let's speak to each of these players. Candyman, what happened last week?
Well, I have to approach this like fantasy football, where all these guys are mercenaries, and you can't put personal teams and that you're fans of in play. I picked the Bills. I'm a Bills homer through my wife. They won. I picked the Raiders for my son, but hey, that was a close game. The Bengals did pull it out. Eagles, Bucks, that was just a ridiculous upset pick I made. Probably not the biggest Tom Brady fan over here. And so I'm 3-3. So I'll try to go a little less emotion this week and be more logical with my picks.
All right, Brebs, let's get some insight on you. It wasn't a horrible week at 4-2. So what were your thoughts?
Well, first I'd like to go to that Raiders game. There was a lot of times where they were in the red zone driving and then get killed by penalties. And that led to Cincinnati breaking their playoff curse and winning the game for the first time in 30 years. Then we go to the surprising Bills blowing out the Patriots. Never expect that from a Bill Belichick-led defense. And then Sunday, we got the Bucks blowing out, basically, the Eagles. Eagles didn't really stand a chance in that game. And then the Cowboys just disappointed me. You're not going to win a playoff game if you commit like a season high 14 or postseason record high 14 penalties. And then to the Sunday night game, we have the Steelers, who didn't really stand a chance. Although TJ Watt, there's so much he can do. Then finally, the Rams, they just stopped right over the Cardinals. The Cardinals, did not look good at all. Kyler Murray did not look poised, and without D-Hop, this team goes nowhere.
Yeah, it was a rough week for Arizona. Big Bob, you had a solid week at 4-2, but we all know where this is going. You told us the Cowboys would go all the way this year last week. So, yeah. Walk us through that loss.
That was brutal. I had very high hopes, and this week I'm gonna go more logical with my picks. I'm diehard Cowboys fan, but I'm gonna pick more realistically they wouldn't have won, but penalties really killed them there. Dak running the ball that made no sense. Just a few really questionable plays. Shouldn't have done that.
Well, don't worry, Big Bob. I'm sure next year will be the Cowboys' year. The Robo, unfortunately, will not be able to join us this week, but he was 5-1. His only incorrect pick was the Monday night game. He was rolling with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, which just that was a brutal game for them. My pick was also a blowout. I was 5-1, but I decided to roll with Bill Belichick and the Patriots, and that was I was totally wrong there. Josh Allen was just way too good. With that being said, let's roll into our picks here. We're going to move chronologically here as we did last week, and we're going to start out with the Cincinnati Bengals heading to Tennessee. Candyman, start us out. What do you think's happening here?
Well, I love the fact that head coach Zach Taylor went to the Mount Lookout Tavern, there's a local bar in Cincinnati that he drives by on his way to work after the game to present them with the game ball. Class move. They get a win 31 years after I think the Raiders beat them in the playoffs. They played well. Joey Burrow looked great, throwing to Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. I do think they did suffer some casualties. I think three defensive linemen got hurt in this game that won't be able to play against the Titans. That's an X factor for them. Another X factor for them is that Joey Mixon, to me, really hasn't been playing that great since week 12. So that kind of hurts them. But I think they're a great story. I'm glad they won. Now they're heading into this Tennessee and this really powerful Titans team. And Derrick Henry, the workhorse, arguably the best running back in the last 3 years in the NFL, could be back. If not, they're going to roll out Deonta Foreman. Ryan Tannehill is played kind of pedestrian, throughout the beginning of this season, but his quarterback ratings have been the triple digits in the last 3 or 4 weeks of the regular season. I guess I'm just going to, ride with the home team, the favorite, the team that got the bye. I think it's going to be a closer game than people think, but I'm going to go with the Titans.
All right. Brebs, you agree with Candyman here?
I do. The Titans got a very lucky bye with the Derrick Henry injury throughout the season. And I just think the Titans with a top defense and with Deonta Foreman, who's going to take off the load off Derrick Henry so the Titans don't have to just rush Derrick Henry all the time. And now open up the play-action game. And I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase on the other side with the Bengals. But ultimately, in the end, I think the Titans will pull this out and move on to the AFC Championship game.
All right. Big Bob, what do you say here?
I disagree. I think that if Derrick Henry is available to play, it's going to be a closer game than anyone thinks. But by the way the Bengals looked last week, they looked like they wanted to win, and they're ready to win. And I think Joey Burrow has a decent shot of winning, and I want to see them in the game next week.
Robo is going to agree with Candyman and Brebs. He likes Derrick Henry and Tennessee to take out the win at home. I personally see this one as a complete toss-up. There's so many factors to look at. I was really underwhelmed by what Cincinnati did against Vegas. They just had so many opportunities where they were not able to convert and score in key moments. I'd argue that they deserve to lose that game. And Tennessee is, Tennessee just, there's nothing that I find particularly special about them besides Derrick Henry. And I don't know how ready Derrick Henry is. So I'm going to go with my gut here, and I'm going to roll with the Cincinnati Bengals. I just like Joe Burrow over Ryan Tannehill. I think it'll come down to a QB making a big play, and Burrow will be able to do that. Let's move on to the next game, which will be on Saturday night. It is a rematch. It is a matchup that has been played tons of times in the playoffs between two of the great franchises in the history of the NFL. It is the San Francisco 49ers heading to Lambeau to take on the Packers. So, Brebs, are you rolling with Aaron Rodgers here?
I will be rolling with Aaron Rodgers in this matchup. I got the jersey, as you see here. This is something about this year. I think that Rodgers is not only going to win season MVP, but I think they're going to go to Super Bowl and win it. They have the top tier defense, the best wide receiver in the league, and a top 5 running game. And I think the Niners don't match up as well as the Packers. It won't be like the last time we played the championship game. And I think it would be vice versa, where the Packers will be rushing all over the Niners in this game. And I think this will cement Jimmy G's final game as a Niner as well.
Some very interesting takes there. Big Bob, we all know that the 49ers knocked out your team. Do they continue their hot stretch of football?
No, I think Aaron Rodgers has been in the league a lot more, and I just think that this one's one of the more clear fights. And as much as I do want San Francisco to get out of the division, I still think that the smart decision is to go with Aaron Rodgers, and their defense is going to help them a lot. I think Green Bay is going to win this and possibly take it all the way this year.
All right. Robo agrees with you guys. He's rolling with the Packers. I disagree with you guys. I really like San Francisco. Jimmy Garoppolo just gets no respect, and it's kind of crazy to see. He makes some bad throws. He's not, he's not a superstar, but he does enough to win you a game, and I think he'll prove that this weekend. We've seen San Francisco defeat Green Bay in some big games before. We all know just how incredible Deebo Samuel is. San Francisco takes this game in what actually might be Aaron Rodgers' final game. Flipping the script on you there, Brevs. And what do you say here, Candyman?
Well, it's not shocking to me that Brebs and Big Bob are pulling for the Packers. Theo, I'm going to totally disagree with you about Jimmy G. Not a fan. terrible quarterback rating for this game that he played against Dallas. The game was terrible. I mean, we could talk about the quarterback sneak and Mike McCarthy and how awful that was till the end of time, and that will be discussed until Dallas wins a playoff game in the future at some point. The 49ers is a good story, how they win the last regular season game against the Rams, get into the playoffs. It's all about Deebo Samuels. I mean, 10 carries, 7.2 yards per carry. Is he a wide receiver? Is he a running back? Jimmy G is great. Jimmy G missed a key, I think it was a third down conversion to Ayuk. He overthrew him. Jimmy G is serviceable. He's like a Mac Jones on the Niners, but the Niners got more components than the Patriots. And it did not shock me that the Patriots got killed by the Bills. Just no talent there. I don't think the Niners will win for a few reasons. One of them being the injury to Bosa. I believe he injured his shoulder, and I think that's a difference. Green Bay is rested. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is ready to be the Jeopardy host for life yet. I think he wants to make the Super Bowl run. Sort of rooting for him. They're going to do well. I think it's – oh, by the way, the Niners, the lowest temperature they played in this year was 41 degrees, and they didn't win the game. Jimmy G, I read some status, never started professionally in a game under 40 degrees. For those factors, I think Green Bay at home field, Lambeau, is going to win, and they will move on. I got the Packers.
All right, I'm clearly outnumbered here. This is a chance to move up in the standings overall, you guys. Anyway, let's move on to Sunday. We're going to start things out with the LA Rams heading to Tampa Bay. This should be a fun one. Big Bob?
I think
can the GOAT take this one?
I think as much as Tom Brady wins all the time, I think he's gonna win here because this is by far our most interesting matchup, and he has all this experience, and I'm not saying the Rams don't. The Rams have OBJ now, and then their offense is stacked and they have good defense. But I can't see Tom Brady losing.
Yeah, I think that's what so many people have said. That's what Robo says. He's rolling with Tampa. That's what I'm saying as well. Stafford is a great quarterback, but he's very inexperienced in the playoffs. He's never really proved himself in a big moment before. And Tom Brady is just Tom Brady. I just read today the man has countdown clocks in all of his gyms, which he has tons of them across his house. He has countdown clocks leading up to the Super Bowl. This man is not losing anywhere short of the Super Bowl, and I'm confident about that. That's why I'm Team Money. You take these picks right to the bank. Candyman, you agree with us here?
The tough game to pick. Once again, I was big on the Rams when they traded for Stafford last year. Every time I go against Brady, he proves me wrong. I mean, look at the backs they were rolling with last week. Giovanni Bernard, Keyshawn Vaughn. If one of those guys go down, Le'Veon Bell is the third back on the depth chart for the Bucs right now if Fournette doesn't come back. He's got 3 tight ends he's going to. He's going to Gronk. He's going to Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard. He finds a way to win. It's almost like having a coach out there as your quarterback, and he works well with Arians, but I'm going to go against him. Wow. Because when they lost the 2 Super Bowls to the Giants, what beat Brady? Pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. Aaron Donald, Von Miller, got to just bring the heat all day, blitz, blitz, blitz. Hopefully Jalen Ramsey can make a pick or something. Rams, upset, Tampa. Let's see it happen.
Okay. Brebs, who are you rolling with here?
I am going with the upset as well. I am rolling with the Rams. The Rams are very, very dangerous right now. And like the Titans, kind of similarly, they got healthy at the right time with Cam Akers coming back. And OBJ, ever since they picked him up, he's been great for them. He has more touchdowns now combined than the Browns receivers combined had all season for them. And they won't have Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown, and they're going to really feel that loss. And I think the Rams, they're going to roll to the NFC Championship game and put up a contending fight.
Okay.
Boys, let me interrupt for a second. Brebs brought up a great point. OBJ, X Factor. They're going to double cup. OBJ is fresh. He's ready to go. Could be a huge X Factor. Thanks for letting me interrupt.
All right. 2 picks for the Rams. I did not expect that. I think you guys are going to be wrong, but we'll see how it plays out. And we're closing things out with an AFC Championship rematch from last year. The Buffalo Bills are headed to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Robo's going to roll with Bills Mafia here, and I'm going to have to disagree with him. I think this is going to be a very fun one. I think both teams are incredible, both QBs. We all know just how fun they are to watch. But Kansas City is going to be able to overpower Buffalo. We saw it last year in the AFC Championship where Buffalo put up a very solid fight, but just fell short. We're going to see it again here. I know Buffalo won. I believe they actually blew out Kansas City in the regular season, but that was early in the year. This is a totally different Kansas City team, and they'll march right into the AFC Championship. Candyman, do you agree with me here?
Wow, this game is so tough to pick. It's funny. I remember the regular season game. My family and I were in D.C. We watched it in the hotel room on a Sunday night. I fell asleep, but my wife was elated that the Bills won. That was a different Chiefs team. People were figuring out how to contain Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes has really learned how to play with anyone. I mean, if you think about it, Edwards-Helaire isn't playing. He's using guys like Pringle. He's not always relying on Tyreek Hill. He's using Hardman. McKinnon is another running back. He's using all the weapons. Travis Kelce played a good game. I think their defense needs to step up. I think Steve Spagnuolo needs to dial up a great defensive game plan, and he has to rely on Matthew here maybe to make a pick or something. The Bills, I mean, what more to say? Was it they had a touchdown on their first 7 drives of the game? I thought that game would be closer. They're better than the Pats, and they should have won that game. Did I think it would be a blowout like it was? No. I don't know who to pick. I'm going to go a little homer emotional pick here. It's going to be a tough win, but I think the Bills can do it. And I do think the winner of this game is the Super Bowl champ. Whoever wins this game marches to a Super Bowl victory. But I'm going with the Bills.
Rebs, do you think we are going to get a changing the guard here in the AFC?
Both these teams last week had amazing games. First off, with the Bills, did not have a single punt, did not have a field goal, fumble, interception, etc. 7-7, blowing out the Patriots. And then we have the Chiefs, who it looked a little off in the first quarter, but then picked it up by scoring like 3 touchdowns in a span of 10 minutes. So both of these teams go into this game off with a lot of momentum. And I think the Bills will actually edge the Chiefs in this game. I think Josh Allen's going to prove to everyone maybe the ranking of QBs in the AFC is a little closer than people thought at first. And with the Bills, they'll have Josh Allen again and hopefully Dawson Knox, as he did last game, both having great games and lifting the Bills onto the championship game.
All right, I cannot be the only one who picks Kansas City here. Come on, Big Bob. You got to help me out here, right?
I'm sorry, I'm not going to help you out here. I have to agree. I think it's Bills Mafia, and I think they're going to be the winner of the AFC. Between Josh Allen, I think he wants to prove that he's worth being the Bills quarterback, and they did. They blew them out in the beginning of the season. And I don't think that is like the major reason why they're going to win, but I think that Josh Allen is going to help them just be right over the edge. I don't think they're going to like blow them out like they did in the beginning of the season, but I think it's going to be a close game, but I think it's going to be definitely a battle of the quarterbacks on this one.
Okay, so we were unable to reach a consensus anywhere this week, which really goes to show, how exciting some of these matchups should be. We'll be back next week where we recap this divisional round and pick these championship weekend matchups, which should be very fun to do. For this special Overtime 2022 playoff special, I'm Team Money. Let the games continue.